Do you want your very own buddy to commit war crimes with? Take me home today! The Kirsche Tues plush is on sale now from November 18th through December 2nd. The link is both on screen and in the video description below. Kirsche is made of soft materials to keep you cozy in any foxhole, underground bunker, or even just your warm, comfy bed. Standard correction practices may need to be utilized to get your Kirsche to accurately follow instructions. This product has not yet been evaluated by the FDA, FDIC, or the IRS. This product has not yet been proven to cure depression. If you're having any side effects, including nausea, diarrhea, headache, fatigue, loss of sight, loss of limbs, weaponry suddenly going missing, upset stomach, waking up with an IV draining your blood for science experiments, blood clot, stroke, heart attack, small caches of food, and drugs appearing inside your walls, call your doctor immediately, but they probably can't help you. It's too late. Bring home your new best friend today and experience the thrill of living with Kirsche. I wasn't planning on talking DEI again until I was able to dive back into the Bridge Smart Brief since we're a little far behind. But in scrolling my news feed this morning when I couldn't fall asleep, I had two articles pop up. I had two DEI related articles pop up, and I'm gonna be a leaned back gamer while I read these, chat. Just because that will help my shoulder a little bit, and I can't be a lean back gamer when I start playing Resident Evil 5. I'm sorry, I'm leaned back. Don't compare yourself to the View. They can't even imitate a fraction of your power. So this article, this says, this is from Inc.com. Why the return to office workforce is coming back less diverse. Studies show women, people of color, disabled employees, many of them high performers, are choosing job flexibility and working from home over going into work. And I think this is a really funny way to phrase it, because as someone who thinks that if you can do your job from home, you should be able to, right? I think the majority of people demanding that all employees come back to work regularly in an office setting are doing so for some sort of weird power trip control reason, right? If your job is capable of being done and you are performing, you should be allowed to work from home. But I think the way that this is phrased is really interesting, because when men need to get something done, they kind of just do it. So if there's no way to fight back and advocate for, no, I should be able to work from home, they're just going to get the work done anyways. So I think this is a funny way to phrase it. Decisions to tighten return to office mandates generate a lot of headlines and strike dread into the hearts of many employees. Yet data suggests the shift back to pre-pandemic rules hasn't gained as much momentum as reports might suggest. There may be good reasons for that go-slow approach. Studies suggest companies have restricted or entirely ended remote working arrangements are paying the price in terms of decreased worker diversity, potentially losing out on business benefits found through more broadly comprised workforces. I don't even know what to say about this sentence. Where they're just they're not losing out on good workers. They're not losing out on good performance. They're losing out on the business benefits of worker diversity. What the fuck is this article, man? While blowback was widespread after Amazon's September announcement mandating a full 5-day return to office regime, evidence suggests the people most adverse to stricter work arrangements responded by moving on rather than complaining. According to studies, most people likely to leave tightening in-office regimes are women, people of color, workers with disabilities, and employees doubling as caregivers to loved ones. And the only people here that really have a reason would be if your disability actually has a problem with you going back into the office, and people doubling as caregivers, because they can't, they're doing something else, right? What the fuck is this idea that people get magically more efficient by having different melanin levels? I don't fucking know, dude. Are women with kids included in that doubling as a caregiver to loved ones number? It seems like it's worded very vaguely on purpose. Oh, I didn't even think of that. When I read doubling as caregivers to loved ones, I think of you're taking care of someone who is unable to care for themselves. Like a parent who is bedridden, or an uncle who is paralyzed, right? Like someone who is literally incapable. I didn't even think of the children. That would be very fucking weird if that was included in there. Give me $10,000. What the heck? They're putting them together. That seems very disingenuous, unironically. Ozihara's mud hut looking good right now. True. Their choice to walk rather than return to cubicles is fueling a decline in staff diversity at return-to-office tightening enterprises, and the enrichment that those divergent experiences and insights provide. I love the, like, snooty way these people write these articles, man. Like, it is just fascinating to read. Because, like, what reality do they fucking live in? This is just nonsensical, man. Oh, wait. I just saw a sentence, chat. Hold on. The workforce will become less diverse. Harvard Business School professor and remote work expert Prithviraj Chowdhury told the Washington Post, warning increased uniformity risks narrowing internal company perspectives and responses to challenging. It will be more white and more male. How terrible! Won't someone think of the poor corporations being more white and more male? Think of how much government money they'll lose. A survey of 2,080 knowledge workers released earlier this year by business consultancy Gartner measured the effects of tightened RTO decisions on staffs. It found stiffer mandates undermined employee intent to stick with their jobs by 8% on average, but 11% for women, 10% for millennials, and 16% for the highest performers. Often, the cohorts particularly adverse to restricted remote or hybrid arrangements included large numbers of people of color and those with disabilities. A study by the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School took an inverse approach and uncovered similar findings. It analyzed replies to job postings before, during, and after the pandemic, and evolving work arrangements over those periods. And you see, this is where I get, like, really fucking mad, right? Because again, if your job can be completed from home and you are able to do good performance from home, you should be able to work from home. I genuinely hate how they are trying to make this a racist or a, like, sex policy. I don't care if you are black or Asian or Mexican or white or a woman or a man or intersex or some sort of made-up magical non-binary butterfly gender that you believe you are. If your job can be done from home, you should be able to do so. All of this just reads like more nonsense fucking division shit to me. Managers seem to want to find problems that don't exist. It's like the DEI people, the specific, like, DEI officers know that they're being phased out in order to preference the moral imperative of everyone at the job must do the work. So they're trying to find ways to be like, oh no, you do still need us. You can't fold DEI into everyone just yet. We still need to be here. Look at these problems. I hate this. Oh my god. When the same jobs shifted from in-person to remote, that single change yielded a 15% increase in female applicants, a 33% increase in underrepresented minority applicants, and a 17% increase in total applicant experience. A Wharton publication on the study explained. I also want to say, during the pandemic and shortly after the pandemic, the amount of articles and TikToks and YouTube videos on people who are like, hey, check out how I clock into work and pretend I'm doing work by setting up all these decoy things around me so that when they check in on me to make sure I'm doing work, they don't notice that I'm taking a nap on my couch. I was just like, you know, it's easier to apply to a job when you can apply from anywhere. Yeah, also that. So it's like, it doesn't surprise me that during the era of all these videos of like, look at how much of a lazy piece of shit that I can be while getting paid for something I'm not really doing, people were like, oh, hell yeah, I want an easy way to make money. Of course the applications would increase that way as well. Like, the chatter was correct. Yes, once you can apply to a job from anywhere, you're going to get an increase in applicants. That is obvious. But there's also going to be the people looking to take advantage. It's worded that way, like how people were tricked by unions, that they're the reason child labor isn't a thing anymore. Unions had nothing to do with that. Families had enough money from previous kids working saved up to afford to send those kids to schools. It was outmoded by itself. Union leaders will tell you otherwise. True. True. Why the higher diversity in candidate attraction to the less rigid work conditions? The study attributed that to the greater time and location flexibility those arrangements offered. But also important to women, people of color, and those with disabilities was the ability to perform their work remotely, without the second-guessing, unwanted advice, or other disturbances that they may have to deal with in office settings. And there it is, baby! Why would I want to go into the office? I'd have to deal with white people and the patriarchy. Remote work allows women and minorities to remove themselves from hostile work environments or offices where they may encounter microaggressions or overt discrimination.
Microaggression!
Chat, I was trying to make a joke, but I am actually disappointed that they quite literally reiterated what I just said. I was hoping they might be better than that for once. Despite the attention the reinforced RTO mandates by Amazon, UPS, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and Starbucks have generated, the Post noted the wider consequences of return to the office orders have so far been smaller than imagined. For example, a June U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics analysis found the portion of people who worked from home remained stable at about 35% between 2022 and 2023. Other stats indicate remote and hybrid practices haven't decreased that much in 2024 either. So what they're saying is that this actually isn't that big of a problem, but they have to make it into one, specifically for women and minorities. Women complaining about men in work and then complain that men don't talk to them. I don't want to talk to men at work. They mansplain to me. They're gonna microaggression me. They might tell me that my blouse looks nice today. Why won't men train me? Why am I not getting training for the management position that I want? We need to demand that men train women. It's an HR case waiting to happen. The Post also noted that many companies with flexible work regimes have benefited from people fleeing companies, tightening the RTO screws. Pinterest, for example, had been hiring a far greater mix of people than ever, with 68% of diverse workers and 63% of women based outside of the company's Bay Area home base. How many employees does Pinterest realistically need? Because, like, does Pinterest even have the ability to, like, make comments? I thought it was all just, like, images. Like, one! You find it ironic that the more they keep hyper-obsessed with racism, the more they become racist themselves? They've always been incredibly racist. They were just able to hide it with, like, a veneer of, it's for your own good. It's for the greater good. I'm a good person. I'm a white savior and I speak for the minorities. You know, they were able to hide behind that. But, like, the more that this, like, moves forward and the more they try pushing DEI as the quote-unquote moral imperative that it is and how it needs to be embedded into companies' DNA, the more even normies can notice how overtly racist these people are. Right? Because, like, a white supremacist will just be like, yeah, black people are inferior. But a progressive will be like, oh, black people just don't know how to get driver's licenses. We can't expect black people to compete on the same playing field as white people. That's just silly. We need to give all of these handouts and leg ups to the black people so that they can actually compete with whites. I'm a good person. Right? Like, it's incredibly condescending and disgusting. The subtle bigotry of low expectations. It's becoming not so subtle anymore, baby. I'm not racist. I hate everyone equally. The improved ability to attract and retain a wider blend of high-performing candidates also offers employers added insights and value they'd otherwise lack, said CEO of Work Forward Business Advisory, Brian Elliott. All right, so let's look up what Work Forward is, because if he's pushing the you need diversity in the workplace, it's good for business. Let's see what this company is. Let's see what they do. Oh, they already have the Globo Homo artwork on their landing page. That's always a good sign. That's always look at Globo Homo here. Let's go. Listen to the podcast where industry leaders come together to discuss relevant work-related topics. Okay, all right. Work Forward is a community of people who aim to change the way we work by improving working environments and methods. Work Forward is not a company. What? We are a movement and a community of people who believe the same principles, that we can do better when it comes to work. What is an innovation facilitator? What is that title? What does she mean by this? So much is possible if we let go of the ways work has been done for the past 100 years and we build trust and connection. Director of Strategic Practices. Okay, here's what you can do. You can take action to improve your organization. This is the challenge wheel, one of many resources aimed at helping your team move forward. Learn from industry experts. In episode 8 of the Work Forward podcast, Howard Espin shares his insights on overcoming the challenges of collaboration. Set the bar and then raise it. Take the assessment and discover relevant tools that can help you measure how well your organization is working forward. Join our events. We got the War for Talent, Mural Basics, and More 2020 Summit Day 2. Wait, why are there panels for the 2020 Summit? What happened to the last 3 years? What happened to the last 3 years? Oh, I just clicked on fucking LinkedIn. That's not what I want. What are these? What are these? They have 22 followers because of course they do. Have you missed the Work Forward podcast? Don't worry, we're back for 2022. Okay, so they don't really post very much, eh? The last Work Forward Summit of 2020 is about to happen. So they haven't even really done anything since 2020. Territory and @Lego Group have the same thing in mind when it comes to online meetings. Are you an outlaw, hero, or rogue, or Lego? What? The snacker. What am I even looking at, man? What is happening? Oh my god, so heckin' random. I love 2006. Smile, you're on camera. We've ended day 2 of our 2020 Work Forward Summit. You know, I'd say I'm surprised, but everyone here looks exactly like what I would expect them to. So, you know. I've spoken to around 1,000 companies over the last 6 months about their plan for remote work going forward. COVID-19 fundamentally changed the way we approach work. Better way forward. Work is personal. Own it. Adaptive workplaces and approaches to work becoming the rule. Okay, so they really don't post much here. What's the origin story? Oh my god. On October 8th, 2019, a stalwart group of leaders come together in New York City for the first Work Forward Summit, which was sponsored by Mural and moderated by Territory. The event's goal was to develop a V1, I think that says. I'm very leaned back, chat. A vision of how the business of work can be better. Summit participants recognize that today's world of work is in a state of constant change. New tools, platforms, even business models are creating challenges for organizations to stay relevant and competitive, recruit and retain top talent, and drive higher productivity. For policymakers, business leaders, and workers themselves, these challenges create uncertainty, as well as opportunity. Today, every company and consultancy has a point of view for how to make work better or address the future of work, quote unquote. And not surprisingly, they usually suggest their singular solution or perspective as the path to success. You're thoroughly convinced that this nonsense wouldn't be an issue if things had been allowed to naturally progress as it was in the early 2000s till what, 08, 09? Now everything is mired in shit due to these people wanting to force something that should not be forced? Unfortunately, this kind of... the framework for what is happening now was set well before the 2000s. This is like the culmination of everything, right? Like they've started with like affirmative action and hiring quotas, and they've progressed further and further and further. The entire thing has just been Marxist subversion since the beginning, essentially. And they are now at the point where it's more obvious what they're doing, which again is why companies are like, oh no, we're actually cutting DEI. Don't pay attention to the fact that we're doubling down. Just listen to our nice, pretty words. Believe you are winning. Because this has been the goal. This is what they want to do, which is again, why are they also foregoing short-term profit? They know they're losing money. They know losing money is a problem. They're just hoping that they'll be able to foment the cultural change that they desire before they run out of money. And it will be our job to hopefully run them out of money before they result in the cultural change that they want. Many now don't even realize that the racist hiring is illegal. Always has been, but it's for some reason been allowed. A framework was set, but if there was clearly something that set it off, you think it was just a feeling of momentum after something with Obama? I feel like it definitely accelerated probably around like the 2010s era. The acceleration was definitely noticeable, and it's like I've lamented on this before, where like when the first Gamergate was happening, I wish I was more like politically connected, I guess. Because to me, just watching all the YouTubers make fun of the feminists and all the idiots who wanted to inject this shit into gaming, it was like, yeah, these people are retarded. How could anyone take them seriously? But I didn't realize that this was like an endemic problem to every aspect of society. I thought it was just like a gaming issue. It was a false question. James Lindsay's voice. It's the Gnostics. They're everywhere. You meant more of the growing division between the ethnic groups, etc. But yeah, you see what I'm talking about? I mean, yeah, the division is part of it, right? The division has been skyrocketing because that's part of how you get these things to be pushed forward, right? It's like, again, the feminists were the useful idiots for the USSR, but the United States is a unique place in that you don't only have to sow division between men and women, which they've done very fucking well. Look at how atrociously men and women treat each other, how little trust there is between men and women, how the government even foments this division by giving preferential treatment to women in certain areas of law, right? Like it's very obvious, but because the United States was a melting pot of a country, we had so many different ethnicities living together in the same area. Another attack vector that was easy to foment so much like issue and tension was to bring race into the equation. Look at the fucking voting habits of millennials by sex. You're true. No. The beginning. The Work Forward Summit applied a collaborative and co-creative workshop approach to developing ideas and concepts to initiate the work forward conversation. First, we explored why we work, landing on a set of key concepts that describe the motivations for work, which included purpose, to make a better world; money, to build wealth and fulfill one's ambition; survival, to ensure subsistence; community, helping others, connecting to and serving a higher cause; family, addressing the needs of the ones we love; emotion, happiness, fun, or love; and innovation, to inspire creativity. Next, we moved on to describe the traditional activities that regularly occur in our work week. As you can imagine, the list was expansive, and we barely scratched the surface. That said, after mapping into groups, we came up with about 24 key activities, such as business planning, serving customers, managing finances, communicating, procuring resources and materials, etc. Using this set of traditional work activities as a basis for comparison, we moved on to envision what a work-forward environment might look like. This wasn't an exercise in exploring the future of work. Rather, we used an activity to describe what a work-forward world looks like through the lenses of place, where, time, when, approach, how, and materials, what. The activities of the work-forward world are always advancing and bettering the why we work concepts to help people work better, and therefore also help businesses work better. To help build a work-forward movement and develop a manifesto declaring the aims of work forward, the original summit participants ideated a set of principles to guide us. After individually listing many principles, the participants aligned upon a set of key principles. Helping the Work Forward Summit outputs and ideas might prompt others to action. We drafted some ideas for activities that could help initiate conversation and action at your organization. You can see creative results by downloading one of the Firestarter activities. We ended the day by discussing how to advance the Work Forward movement and what we all could do personally to see the first output of the event. The mural board summarizing the day's activities, go to this link. To keep up to date on the progress of Work Forward and observe or contribute, go to the Work Forward LinkedIn group, blah, blah, blah. So I guess their principles are be transparent, seek growth and development, have integrity, the irony, collaborate, build empathy, evolve, work to live, be diverse, communicate, and hold accountability. And they already set off some red flags with their like weird manifesto paragraph, and also the fact that they're called Work Forward, and these people typically focus on calling what they do the work. But also when they say work to live in their key forward principles, remember that doing the work, the commitments of diversity, equity, and inclusion are something that you, the average person, should not only be doing during your 9-to-5 workday, but it's something you should be bringing home with you. You should be embodying the work and living the work. So this is just another commie gobbledygook, as it seems. The work, comrade! Welcome to the mural. Work Forward Summit Capture Mural. And enter as a visitor. Visiting owl. Okay. Choose, navigate, mouse. Okay. Alright. Our goal for Work Forward is to create a vision of how the business of work can be better. Okay. We finished. So it starts here. Why the participants work. To save cash to work on my purpose, which is accelerating human rights. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry. What? To help for money. To form a professional career. I work for personal growth and achievement. To be stretched and feel like I'm making a positive difference. Happiness. Freedom. Purpose. I work to create impact. To learn something new. To live. To make cool things. To solve problems. To solve challenging problems. Alright, so I can already tell the men who responded to this. The professional career, make cool things, solve problems, and solve challenging problems. Those are probably the men who answered here. Work to earn the right to work. What the fuck am I reading? Why we work. Survival is to live. Survival, survive, security, sustain life, need for the health insurance. Because it's the only thing available where I live. Family, to feed the family. Family, provide for family. Family, to provide for family. To continue my family tradition. To provide for Did you really need to make this many fucking boxes when you're just repeating yourself? Honestly? Come on, dude. Under money, I feel like I've made it, or have status, money, to be rich, to form a powerful career, for recognition, independence, money, ambition, security, to earn enough to be free, build wealth, to advance. I work for personal growth and achievement, freedom, basic needs, emotion, happiness, fun, feel valued, literally a blank box, to feel like a boss, enjoy being with the people I work with, ain't no way, coworkers aren't your friends, baby. Community, help others, defend my country? I feel like unless you're in the military, that answer doesn't make any sense. Relations, community, connect, to help for money. Innovate, to make cool things, create, inspire creativity. There's a lot under purpose here. Choice, promote my ideas, learning, to learn something new, understand the universe, solve challenging problems, care for others, share talent, save cash to work on my purpose, which is accelerating human rights, support a case I believe in, to be treated, to feel like I'm making a positive difference. I work to create a legacy of impact, to solve a big problem, to help others, purpose, create positive change, to inspire the next generation. We must create the modern audience, chat. To promote evolution, to give back, solve problems because I love what I do, to change the world. Okay, all right there, big guy. Legacy, to find purpose, fulfillment, to help a difference, make people. English, well, monkey, to make a difference and help people, defend my country and protect others. Okay, where do we go from here with these fucking psychopaths? How we work. Traveling, facilitating, travel to business meetings, management talent, distribute responsibility when it's check photo, deal with employee issues, performance reviews, hiring, firing, benefits management, interview candidates, KPI review, build new cases, goals, KPI settings, take a customer call, proofreading, positive feedback, managing finances, budgeting, blah, 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 blah. That's, we don't really need to read that, I don't think. Ways to work forward. In collaborations, when are we doing the activity? Ad hoc. Based on outcomes, office hours and in person, increasing the number of meetings, during conversations, visual and asynchronous, meaningful meetings. Chat, I'm a little confused. They say, when are we doing the activity? And the office hours and in person makes sense because that actually answers when, and during conversation answers when. But who the fuck answered ad hoc and based on outcomes? I don't understand. We're all confused. Where are we doing the activity? Remote, Zoom, meeting rooms, virtual space, multiple identities and logins? Special interest meetups? Support? What is the activity? What is the activity? I don't understand. How will we go about it? Fewer egos. Digital twins. Diversity. Human-centered design. Let down the drawbridge. Servant leadership. What materials and resources do we need to perform the activity? I can only assume they're saying the activity in the same way that they say the work, right? Because, like, they haven't explained what the activity would be. You're getting surgery if you have a digital Siamese twin. Clear objective, discourse, conversation, decision maker, XR spaces, analysis software. What am I reading, man? Under communicating, when are we doing communicating, I guess? Maybe that's the activity. When are we collaborating? But, like, that still doesn't make sense. What do they mean based on outcomes? When are we communicating? Work is communicating. 9 to 5. All phases of work. 24 hours, 7 days across time zones and language. What? Where are we doing the communicating? These all make sense, except for this one. Addressing asymmetric creation versus consumption costs. What? Barn? Why did someone say barn? This is not serious, man. How will we go about communicating? Composing letters, communication style matching format and mode. Create art and graphics, hand gestures. Listen first. Beyond voice. How will we globalize? Evaluated needs based on analysis of tools. Making a considered decision that includes addressing the costs in switching. What? What materials and resources do we need to perform the communication? Podium, pen and paper, email, PowerPoint, post-it notes, accountability, transparency? Check. Kill PowerPoint! Well, I can agree with that one. People need to learn how to use the tool of PowerPoint properly, that is to say, not wall. What? Disciplined or undefined use of... Use of what? Growing the tool pool might lead to fatigue. Fucking TEDx lectures? What? Content creation. When are we creating content? Constantly. Start something new. Testing and learning. When the customer asks. Check. Proactive, predictive. When we can shut out the interruptions. Office hours and personal hours. Where are we doing content creation? On the job site, in the office, client space, workshop, on the move. Internalized, making your own toolkit. How will we go about creating content? Grit. Minimize distractions. Know the audience. Collaboration, connecting. Asynchronous. Courageous, honest. Purpose of content. Why? It's everyone's job. Check feedback and collaboration. Consumed, internalized, ownership, activation, and ripple. Inspired clarity. It's everyone's job. Diversity of thought. Facts and evidence. What materials and resources do we need for content creation? Time, feedback, confirmation loop, raw materials, know the brand, create the best environment, Google Doc, social media platforms, Mural. This seems really nonsense. Who is taking this seriously? Our principles. Be transparent. Transparency of purpose, published requirements, not decision makers. Transparency, clarity and purpose, aligned purpose instead of cross purpose. Have integrity, honesty, define direction, accelerates purpose realization, evidence-based argument, pride in the work. Build equity. Equity, recognition and reward is blind. Manage performance, not managed minds. Ownership for the venture is by the individuals. Ah, yes, comrade! Seize the means of production. Working for goals, not egos. Team leadership through servant leadership. Rewarding positive behavior. You get that pizza party, girl. Respect to individuals in team. Hold accountability. Accountability, respect and accountability, listening and understanding, just understanding, takes accountability. Accountability and responsibility. You can't put accountability in 5 out of 6 of your squares and expect it to make any fucking sense. I hate commies! Work to live, build community, free up time for life, create safe workspace and time, flexibility in time, cultivate passion projects, not one size fits all, many sizes that fit many or few, acknowledge our common humanity, irreverence, mundane is automated, happiness, location is flexible, complete freedom of time, friendly sarcasm to keep grounded in reality, be diverse, diversity of hiring, acknowledge bias, inclusion, humanizing business connections, empathy, accessible, recognition of different styles and brain preferences, multiple points of view, complete acceptance of diversity. You will capitulate or you will be reprogrammed. Showing empathy, inclusive in everything, non-bias, communicate and collaborate, people lift each other up, not tear each other down, collaborative over competitive, default open over closed, listening, facilitate understanding, clear, concise communication, group buy-in, evolve, flexible, persistent innovation, push out of comfort zone, what the fuck? Redesign systems, laws, societies, and organizations to ensure the rules citizens must abide by are serving the goals for citizens, not just ensuring the survival of a bureaucracy. Bro, what the fuck am I reading? What the fuck is happening? What the fuck? Okay, and then after that, draft the manifesto elements. What are these pictures? Oh, they included pictures of them drafting the manifesto in their dimly lit basement. I'm not seeing a whole lot of diversity here, actually. I feel like this is a white man. That's a white man. This woman is white. This guy looks white. This guy is white. This woman is white. This man is white. This looks like... well, that person's probably not white, but like, you know... this person is also white. Like, why are all these white people saying these things. To the manifesto. What is the value of work forward? Empower diverse individuals to co-create a working world that sustainably builds, supports, and evolves communities. Remember, chat, this is a cultural revolution. They want to change the working world. They want to evolve the working world. None of this is new. It is the same commie gobbledygook we have been reading from B.R.I.D.G.E for the past year. The value of work forward is to exponentially change the experience of work. Hashtag work forward empowers individuals to achieve personal and collective potential. Why is work forward important? It's important because it will lead to greater accessibility to the fruits of why we work. Work forward is important to place humanity at the center of work. Hashtag work forward removes personal limitations, propels organizational growth, and creates societal abundance. I feel like my eyes just glazed over reading that. What will work forward look like when I see it? Passionate, open communication and collaboration with the freedom and bandwidth to solve bigger problems. It will look like people working passionately and with purpose, abundance, and gratitude. Hashtag work forward will feel like you're looking down on Earth, like the freedom of floating in space, laughing in happiness. Yes, comrade! As soon as we usher in the Cultural Revolution and those silly maggot fascists understand that we're bringing the greater good to humanity, we'll be able to live like gods. We'll have all the free time in the world, and work won't feel like work because you're doing it for the greater good. You'll have the ultimate level of freedom, floating in outer space without Elon Musk because he's a fascist.
The author noticed that their motive were being noticed too much and decided to add certain curveballs to confuse the average reader / annoy their opponents.
You would think so, man. These people are insane. Get back in the cuck cube and work for my utopia. Massive Doggo, thank you for the fucking $25 doodles. Thank you. Thank you. So after they write the manifesto, you kill Peanut. I don't know why they put a little reference to Peanut here. You gotta kill those animals to make sure the plebs comply. Activating hashtag work forward. There's a bunch of empty boxes here. And then you look ahead with a telescope. And then you got a session evaluation. And then you're done. You did it. You're now a perfect utopian company. Repeat in the future. Small group work, facilitation, intimacy, emotional. Good balance of group versus individual exercises. Like that it was collaborative, visual. Change for the next time. Larger room with a window. Be more oh, this is like, I guess if they're writing a new manifesto, maybe? Bigger space. Are we clear on the problem we're trying to solve? No. Lots of talk about bias would be good to address within the attendees group next time. Oh, that's true. If you don't address the bias in the room, how can you address bias on a larger scale? Set agreed upon session norms, cell phones, side convos, etc. Lack of diverse thought and industries. I hate these people. I hate these people so fucking much. The level of hatred that I feel. Well, that's work forward. That's what these people do. Back to our article. That was a little segue. I'll reread the paragraph that we got to that. The improved ability to attract and retain a wider blend of high-performing candidates also offers employers added insights and value they'd otherwise lack, said CEO of Work Forward Business Advisory, Brian Elliott. I think Brian Elliott is a Brian idiot. Diversity is tied to innovation, Elliott told Post. People with diverse perspectives bring in new ideas and show you that your mononuclear blind spots. Were that not enough, greater work flexibility also apparently reduces the risk of higher staff turnover. A recent survey by the Conference Board found 45% of personnel managers reported difficulties retaining employees once in-office mandates have been announced. Nearly the same number said that they had a harder time keeping people on staff once their on-site presence had merely been strongly encouraged. Worse still for bosses, the employees most inclined to leave after the imposition of those restrictions are the workers they least can afford to lose. Mandated on-site requirements can carry very steep costs for talent attraction and retention, said Caitlin Duffy, director of Gardner's specialized HR unit. This is especially true for high performers, women, and millennials, 3 employee segments who greatly value flexibility. Often these costs far outweigh the moderate benefits to employee engagement and effort. I'm gonna have a radical opinion here, chat. I know corporations are typically evil and they don't value the workers who work for them, even if you're doing a good job. However, typically, if you as an employee make yourself quite literally integral to the processes of the company and they cannot do anything without you, if you tell them, hey, I can do my work from home, you have my progress reports, I've been doing things correctly, I'm going to continue working from home or I'm going to quit. I feel like the leadership, even in their inhuman corpo state, will be like, I can't afford to lose this person, so I guess we can just let them do it. Right? So I feel like if you're actually a high performer, your bosses might give you a tiny bit of leeway. And if they're retarded enough not to, they're going to feel the consequences and probably end up begging for you back, as I've had a couple of people in chat tell me their stories before. If you are critical, yes, they will abide, but only like 2% are critical. Leadership is usually completely detached from reality. Oh yeah, I'm not saying that leadership is like in tune with reality. There's definitely the bosses that don't realize how integral some employees are, and they're just like, yeah, we're not gonna play that game. Get the fuck out if you're gonna threaten to quit, right? Like, there's definitely that exists. JD Dosk, first time here, saw you in the Fillion collab, like the base takes, and you can see now you don't disappoint. Awesome work, thank you. Welcome. Welcome, dude. They'll fire you and hire 2 or 3 people to fill the role and fail, of course. Yeah, I mean, that happens. I'm sure that happens all the time, right? But if you are actually integral, you have a much better bargaining position than if you're just like, I'm a diverse woman and I need to work from home, right? Like, one of those is a much better bargaining position. They'll find someone to replace you as soon as possible and then fire you. You've watched it happen. Oh yeah, it definitely does happen. But you still have a better bargaining position if you actually are a good worker. You get your ass into the office, lady. Nobody is fully integral. Everyone can be replaced. I mean, I'm sure they can find someone to replace you eventually. We've read those articles about people who are like, I thought that I had job security, but then they had me train my replacement and now they're worse off. Like, we've read plenty of that. No company of your friend did that. About half quit after they had to come to the office twice a week. Company did budge and now bleeds money. Let's see. They're eventually going to come crawling back if they lose actual integral people. You're assuming you can barter. Some corporals just straight up don't negotiate, and they're going to be worse off for it. They're going to absolutely be worse off for it. I'm not saying you are guaranteed to keep your position. You just come from a better bargaining position. And if the company cuts you anyway, they're going to have the noticeable losses. And as other people in chat have pointed out, this is probably why they keep separating specifically high performers from women, from millennials, from diverse hires, right? They have to separate them because the other people have no bartering position. Worse off, absolutely, but they will continue limping forward for decades, literally too big to fail. I'm sure some do that. I mean, we see the detriment of those companies with the DEI hiring right now, right? Do as Kirsche says, go to the boss's office and come. No, not like that! Employers have the numbers. The drones are more productive in an office. The people who say they're more productive at home have around 40% lower productivity rate. I was unironically allowed to work from home before COVID when I was working insurance because I actually was more productive from home than I was in office. Maybe it's because I'm an introvert riddled with anxiety. I don't know, man. You got it dropping loads in my boss's office right now. People know that a system the company owns from the development stage can't be replaced. You were begged to stay when you were the last OG developer. Yeah, I'm not saying every company is the same. I'm not saying, like, just because you are integral, you will be allowed to stay. But you definitely have a much better bargaining position to try and convince the soulless, corpo, evil man that you should be able to stay there, more so than just, I'm a woman. You know, like, I feel like that's just an obvious statement. The people who can't be productive without some boomer middle manager hovering over their shoulder 24/7 are just bad employees? Yeah, I would say so. You did only intern work, so you don't know fully when it comes to this, so you're still new? Yeah, and again, right, if management and leaders valued good employees and high-performing employees over all of this DEI nonsense, we wouldn't be reading these articles. We wouldn't be talking about the Cultural Revolution. We wouldn't be watching fucking Anheuser-Busch go fucking into the hole, right? We wouldn't have any of these issues. So obviously there are plenty of people who are just like, yeah, I don't give a shit about high performers in general. It was bad grammar. You apologize for that. Don't worry, I'm bad at words sometimes. Everyone can be replaced. High performer in tech means you're doing work for 3 people. Teaching younger people, you have the same pay and you have no free time. Oh yeah, I'm sure it does. You think corpos would get the message by now? It's because they've been ideologically captured, right? When the DEI stuff first started kicking off, and we were reading all of those like, oh, St. Floyd happened, so all these companies need to do more than just performative pandering for diversity. There were a lot of those studies, like the McKinsey study, being like, if you do this, you will make more money. Studies show that you will be more financially set, Mr. Corporation, if you start doing equity hiring. And people and companies are like, I like money. I will believe your study because I like money. And then they realized, oh shit, these studies are made up. These studies are not real. We're bleeding money. We're hiring people that can't do anything. We're hiring people that only cause problems in the office. We're alienating the people who actually do the work. Oh fuck. But by the time the people who were convinced to buy into this for monetary purposes and financial gain realized, oh fuck, it was too late. And the majority of the company had been ideologically captured, and they can't do anything to undo what has happened here. Which is why we need to somehow figure out how to get rid of all these crazed ideologues in order to return corporations back to just being evil money-grubbing shitheads. I would rather have the evil money-grubbing shitheads than the for the greater good commie sympathizers. And again, this also, I didn't find this from a smart brief. This was just in my regular newsfeed. The costs of abandoning DEI and why leaders can't afford to backtrack. Diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives are facing a growing backlash, with organizations like Ford slashing budgets, disbanding teams, and rethinking their strategies. See, this guy knows what's going on. He's not saying they're getting rid of it or they're cutting it. He knows exactly what they're doing. This shift aligns with President-elect Trump's early cabinet picks, signaling a rapid move to advance the anti-trans, anti-DEI, and anti-social justice agenda central to his re-election campaign. Stop! I already voted for the man! You don't need to convince me further! However, DEI isn't just about social justice. It's an essential component of business success, workforce innovation, and long-term economic growth. I love when I find things completely independent of Bridge that use Bridge language, because it's just more noticing of how all-encompassing this kind of bullshit is. Rolling back DEI initiatives risks entrenching systemic inequities, shrinking talent pipelines, and undermining the competitive edge of companies in an increasingly diverse global marketplace. Here's why. And I think this is incredibly funny, especially after how we read yesterday, that people were like, we don't actually have enough white men. In recent years, DEI initiatives have come under increased scrutiny, with some claiming that efforts to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion undermine meritocracy or create division. That's because it does. Furthermore, economic pressures and high-profile decisions, such as the 2023 Supreme Court ruling that ended affirmative action, have intensified this backlash. Adding to these challenges is a widespread perception that traditional DEI methods, such as repetitive bias training or underfunded employee resource groups, ERGs, fail to deliver meaningful change. You will encounter a lot of people who will say something dumb like, DEI done well can be good, but DEI the way that it's being done now is bad. These are the useful idiot types that these Marxists hope to be able to enamor enough to convince them to keep saying, yes, we need DEI, just not the way that it is right now. If you encounter someone who tries saying that DEI can or could be a good thing, they have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. As Fast Company has noted, many businesses have approached DEI with a check-the-box mentality, focusing on surface-level activities rather than implementing the deeper structural changes required for meaningful transformation. This is exactly what B.R.I.G.E has been talking about since its inception. All of the YouTuber talking heads on the right have been like, look at all of these people who were for DEI who are now changing their minds, saying that DEI is performative, that it's only checking boxes. Well, we're winning. We're not winning. They're saying it needs to go further. Moving beyond performative DEI. DEI, I'm gonna come, chat. DEI is not just a moral imperative. It is also a business necessity. As Bloomberg highlighted, rolling back DEI risks deepening systemic inequities, further limiting access to economic mobility for marginalized groups, and exacerbating existing disparities. These risks underscore why reimagining DEI approaches, not abandoning them, is more critical than ever. DEI is not just a moral imperative. It is also a business necessity.
And, I do want to make the point. We're not here to name and shame, right? We are here to help companies do better. We're here because
I am from the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau, and I am here to help your company.
Fundamentally believe, other than the fact that it's a moral imperative, that it's a business imperative. The amount, there's $5 trillion.
Whose moral imperative?
In buying
Whose morals? Why are you imposing them on me?
From Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, Indigenous Americans. It's you cannot find that growth from just organically continuing to go after the same market, right? So
why does she pretend that all companies only market to white people? Like, where did she get this idea? DEI is the work of everyone. It needs to be in the DNA of businesses. Oh man, Mr. Editor, when you cut this out as a standalone clip, put that fucking Cheryl Dijja clip in here. Put that Cheryl Dijja clip in here, baby. They did the meme.
And I was talking to him when I was creating B.R.I.G.E, and I said, Omar, what research can we do that will change the trajectory and start to allow people, everyone in every company, to understand that inclusion is the job of all and not the job of one, right? And so I can talk a little bit about a framework that we've created, but I'll let you, maybe ask other questions and then we can get there.
No, I would love to hear this framework because you are speaking my language, right? I have always been one that said this needs to be a part of the DNA of the organization.
That's right.
If something happened to the one person that's responsible, it should not make everything else fall apart. And so one of the things that we're noticing right now is so many organizations are letting go or cutting back the resources or funds to their diversity and inclusion offices, their chief diversity officers, etc. And people are just like, okay, so if that's gone, what else do we do? And it's like, it should be part of your DNA. It should be part of your everyday operations, regardless of which department you're a part of, and it goes beyond.
You will prostrate yourself at our altar.
How is it impacting
you will sacrifice the blood and not just the brain.
Your customers and clients, all of those things. And so, like I said, you're speaking my language.
Diversity is not a cosmetic fix. It requires deep structural changes in how companies operate, said Mustafa Ozbilgin, a professor of organizational behavior at Brunel University of London, in an interview with me, with the author of this article. No biases at all here. Diversity is not a cosmetic fix. It requires deep structural changes in how companies operate. Chat, if you have not realized you are in the middle of a cultural Cold War yet, I don't know how else to spell it out for you. I don't know how else to make the people say, I don't want politics anywhere near me. Understand that politics has already started consuming you. You do not have the option to not participate and stick your head in the sand. It will come for you. It will come for the things you love and enjoy. This is what they want, man. This perspective underscores why superficial efforts such as symbolic appointments or isolated training sessions fail to create lasting impact. Instead, meaningful DEI requires embedding equity into decision-making processes and addressing systemic barriers. Man, if only people had listened to me in January. If only people had listened to me in March or April or May or June, when I talked about, if only I had been taken seriously, instead of being told that I was making assumptions based on nothing. Fuck! Why does no one take me seriously? Traditional DEI models often fall short because they rely on performative measures rather than tackling deeper issues. Bill critiques these superficial approaches in his most recent book, Diversity, a Key Idea for Business and Society. Within it, he highlights how token representation and check-the-box exercises do little to address power imbalances, inequity, or intersectionality. To succeed, firms must move beyond optics. For example, embedding DEI into core business objectives. I guess I don't need to keep bleating on about how I've been talking about this for a year now. For example, embedding DEI into core business objectives ensures alignment with long-term goals. Companies should also prioritize intersectionality, recognizing that employees face exclusion differently based on overlapping identities like race, gender, and class. Oh, I hate these people. It's all because of the fucking soup! I hate Campbell's! The risks of neglecting DEI. Bill.G.E.'s research demonstrates how organizations can take actionable steps to achieve meaningful progress. One of his projects, funded by a $1.25 million EPSRC Ignite Plus grant, I don't know what the fuck that is, examines DEI in the UK energy sector, focusing on how institutional change can create sustainable equity. Can I just say that I feel like it's a real waste of money to spend $1.25 million fucking dollars to examine DEI in an energy sector? What the fuck is this waste, dude? This sector-wide approach highlights the broader applicability of DEI beyond corporate offices and underscores its potential to address systemic inequities across industries. Another global study led Bill.G.E. explores how DEI leaders navigate backlash in the face of alt-right ideologies. His findings highlight the importance of resilience, adaptability, and innovation in sustaining DEI efforts during the political and cultural challenges. That's true, because these are just challenges to them. They are going to win in their minds. There were those articles that we couldn't read because they were like account creation locked or whatever. And KB took long screenshots of them. I posted them on Twitter with one of my like Bridge rundowns. So it's definitely in my long tweet with like all of my tweets I've ever made on Bridge. But like in there from Bridge, they said this exact same thing. They said this exact same thing. And they're just like, all of these companies need to figure out how to change the language, how to obscure what they're doing, so that far-right and conservative activists don't know what's going on and can't bring criticism and lawsuits. These studies reinforce the idea that strategic DEI initiatives grounded in structural change are critical for navigating complex environments. Beyond immediate workplace concerns, Bill.G.E. argues that organizations need to adopt a more holistic view of diversity. This is also something that was mentioned in one of the Bridge interviews. I think it was with the professor lady when they were talking about how they fill their cups. She was talking about how DEI needs to have a more holistic view in its implementation.
Again, it's not just, oh, this is just a marketing tool. This is like a holistic view of your organization from employees to customers to industry, like all of the things that I said earlier, right?
In Diversity, a key idea for business and society, he calls for integrating ecological and algorithmic diversity alongside human diversity, reflecting the interconnectedness of these domains. This ambitious perspective encourages businesses to think beyond traditional boundaries and consider how their practices affect broader systems, including biodiversity and technological innovation. While some of these ideas may seem abstract, they are deeply tied to the practical challenges and opportunities B.R.I.D.G.E research highlights. Recognizing algorithmic systems as entities with legal accountability. Isn't that kind of ironic? Because all of this is them trying to dodge legal accountability? For instance, directly addresses biases in AI technologies, a growing concern across industries. And we've read a lot of articles, especially from Amazon's internal briefings, about how they are using AI for diversity and to eliminate unconscious bias with the use of AI. Similarly, prioritizing ecological diversity aligns businesses with sustainability goals, demonstrating how B.R.I.D.G.E's holistic framework links structural change to actionable outcomes. By embracing this quote-unquote New Deal, companies can position themselves as leaders in equity, innovation, and resilience. Failing to adopt such comprehensive approaches to DEI presents significant risks that B.R.I.D.G.E's work aims to mitigate. Internally, organizations may suffer from higher turnover rates, reduced employee engagement, and missed opportunities for innovation, all of which weaken their capacity for long-term growth. That's right, you must focus on the long term. It's okay if you lose a little bit in the short term. Externally, the absence of a robust DEI strategy can lead to reputational damage, eroded stakeholder trust, who the fuck cares, bring back shareholders, and diminished competitiveness in a globalized marketplace. More critically, abandoning DEI initiatives signals tolerance for systemic inequities, a stance that undermines organizational resilience and alienates diverse talent. B.R.I.D.G.E's research underscores that businesses unwilling to address these systemic issues risk falling behind in an interconnected world where equity and innovation are increasingly intertwined. I don't know what the fuck he means by this. Equity is like the direct opposite of innovation. The more equity you have, the less innovation is actually possible. They've perverted the word ethics. They truly have. For companies committed to thriving in complex environments, neglecting DEI is not just a missed opportunity. It is an existential threat. Reimagining DEI for lasting impact. To succeed, DEI strategies must evolve. B.R.I.D.G.E emphasizes that meaningful progress requires sustained commitment and a willingness to rethink outdated structures. This involves setting measurable goals, tracking progress, and holding leadership accountable. Firms must move beyond symbolic gestures to achieve tangible outcomes, such as closing pay gaps, increasing representation in leadership roles, and fostering inclusive team cultures. They said earlier that increasing representation was merely a checking the box activity that companies did. Leadership development is equally critical. Managers shape workplace culture, and equipping them with the skills to address unconscious bias, navigate complex conversations, and support diverse teams is essential for long-term success. Incorporating intersectionality into these efforts ensures that the unique experiences of employees with intersecting identities are recognized and addressed. This is a call to evolve, not retreat. Rolling back DEI programs may seem like an easy solution to immediate challenges, but the long-term consequences are far more damaging. DEI is not a discretionary initiative. It is a necessity for thriving in an increasingly diverse and interconnected world. Companies that fail to prioritize equity and inclusion risk falling behind in the global marketplace, alienating talent, and undermining their potential for growth. The work of equity and inclusion is challenging, but it remains essential. By addressing the shortcomings of traditional approaches and committing to meaningful change, organizations can position themselves for sustained success. DEI must evolve, not disappear, and the focus should shift from questioning its value to refining its implementation for lasting impact. Check out my website. I think I will. Brexit is a crime scene. Okay. Thank you, Benjamin Laker. I'm Benjamin Laker, a best-selling author and renowned leadership advisor dedicated to exploring how leaders can address pervasive global crisis, whether it's geopolitical unrest, climate change, or economic and health disparities. Why engage me to help your organization? As seen on Wall Street Journal, Vice, BBC, FT, CNBC, USA Today, New York Times, Bloomberg, Washington Post, Fortune. This guy stands to lose a lot if his grift falls through, man. His entire job is basically being a white savior. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of nuts. He even looks like a lizard person. You will be assimilated. Resistance is futile. Holy shit. Saw some Canadian channels like this crap needs to be fixed, but yeah, you have so many other people wanting to be servants of the machine. It's insane. Why won't my headrest magnetize? Get magnetized! There we go. Couldn't fucking fit it back on my chair. I'm a sitting up gamer. A veritable who's who of don't trust this source. Yeah, basically. DEI salesman tells you that you need DEI. It's actually not even surprising that he's fucking British either. Literally not surprising.